Welcome to the Retro Video Store Podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Retro Video Store Podcast. I'm your host Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And that's my co-host Neil.
I'm Neil. And who's here bitching about all the little fires he's got to deal with?
Hey.
David is here, and I don't know if we're going to get all of his attention. Not that that's going to be any different than normal, but he's a busy man with the fire season. So
Yeah, so
isn't the NBA Finals on right now too? Are you watching that too?
I've got finals in the background, so when you guys start droning on about whatever you usually drone on, I can stare off into the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been getting a lot of work phone calls and texts, and I've been home for 2 hours, and it continues. So, yeah, I'm just here to fill my, what is it? I told you I'd be here for about 10 episodes a year. We signed the contract, and so I'm just trying to fill my quota.
Trying to, contractual obligations.
You are going you're going to do an episode for every single listener we have.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Bob in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So
I'm
this
sorry.
week,
Bob lives in South Dakota. I'm sorry about that, Bob. I was just playing around.
South Dakota. So this week we're doing a 90s action movie, probably the most 90s of action movies, Speed from 1994. Still holds up, still a lot of fun. But, yeah. But before we do that, we're going to do what we always do. Let's do it with David. I know David's been a busy man, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. David, what did you watch this week? Or what have you been watching since you were last on?
I did watch this, Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Is that what it is? Where they infiltrated the Nazi thing and stole the boat?
Oh, the Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Gentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. And then I watched a new movie. Actually, it was super entertaining with Bryce Dallas Howard. And the guy that shot the bow and arrow stuff in it's called Deep Cover. Hold on, stand by.
You know,
Deep
I have
Cover.
not heard anything about that until I read the title today and saw that she was in it.
Yeah, it's got the Orlando Bloom, Bryce Dallas Howard. It was actually it was pretty funny and entertaining. I didn't hate it. It made me laugh. Did
you go to the theater to see that, or did you see it on TV?
It was on Prime. It was just released on Prime. So, there are three comedians. What's that called? Where comedians go on stage and
improv group.
They're an improv group who's hired to I think do help with one drug deal. But they're such bad actors that everybody believes them. And they just continue to get more hot water. It's stupid, but it was actually super fun.
Yeah, I just read about that this morning. I was scrolling through something and I saw that, and they had a decent review on it. So, I want to watch it.
Yeah, if you want to laugh, man, seriously, watch it. That's it. That's all I watched. Neil, what did you watch?
Army of the Dead.
Okay, classic.
And then we rewatched the last season of Stranger Things because my son wanted to get ready to watch the new season when that comes out. He wanted to have that fresh in his mind. And then I got a really cool Father's Day gift. So I took a deep dive into videos about how to take care of it and recipes. I got one of those I got a Blackstone griddle, not one of the huge ones, but I got a mid-size one for a family of 3. Mm-hmm. And so I just been watching videos of guys cooking on it and different recipes and all that. And so I spent a lot of time on YouTube.
Don't you have to season it when you first start it? You got to prepare it, put oil on it, and
it's really simple. You wash it with hot soapy water, rinse it off, dry it, crank the thing up all the way on high heat, put whatever oil you're going to season and rub it all over, and it'll smoke like crazy. And when it quits smoking, you repeat that process 4 more times. And then cooked on it for the first time tonight. We did some burgers and a few little veggies and things on there. And my wife we came back in because I was going over with my son, hey man, you could do this too. This is not so hard. Cooked really well, cooked really fast, lots of surface area. was amazing. It was a really good Father's Day present.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I did that, and my front yard is a wasteland. I had a nice green grass growing out there, and then we had ourselves a couple of droughts, and I just let it go to hell. So I knocked all the weeds down, started going around the edges and trenching it. So I'm going to hit it with a rototiller over the next couple of days, scoop out dirt, and then I'm going to do like a zero landscape kind of thing. There's like I don't know what it's called, like decomposed or compressed granite or something. It's like a sand kind of thing. You put it in and put it down, and then you can put like native plants that'll pop up through it if you root them in deep enough. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and playing bagpipes. That's not a lot. Super fascinating life I've been living here as a middle-aged man as I'm approaching another damn birthday. Oh, and it was it's my dad's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Neil's dad.
Missed you for this one.
Happy birthday, Neil's dad.
Anyway, Eric.
It was
making up documentaries, or
my wife's birthday weekend. So we, just did birthday stuff and took her out to dinner and took her out to breakfast. And
well, that's great. Is your wife still alive, Eric? Is that great? My dad's not here, but thanks for bringing it up. And
she is.
Okay, great.
Yeah, doing puzzles.
I'm glad she is. Glad she is.
She's doing good, and Friday the 13th happened to be on Friday this year, so I watched a bunch of Friday the 13th movies. I did a little mini marathon of Friday the 13th. David's really enjoyed that the last quip from Neil.
Well, I just thought about this is how I find out Jamie died.
No.
This is how I find out my sister died. I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Wait, nobody. You were on a fire. Nobody wanted to bother you.
My family doesn't tell each other anything, but this is how I find out. Like, what?
Yeah, your family does not share information at all. That would be very,
So like maybe 10, 12 years ago, I called my dad. Speaking of my dad, I called my dad up and I go, "Hey, how's it going?" "You're a jerk. I can't believe you ask how that's going." Blah, blah. He just raged at me, and I'm like, "What's going on? Why are you mad?" He goes, "You know my mother died." I'm like, "No, nobody told me. I had no freaking clue Grandma died." She'd been gone for like 3 days and no one had told me. And I'm like, well, shit. Like they already had a funeral. And I'm like, damn it. Nobody told me.
Mm-hmm. Good communicators, families are,
Yeah. Excellent communicators. Really.
Speaking of dad's birthdays, your dad's birthday was this past week, wasn't it, David?
It was.
Lots of June birthdays.
Yeah. I always get him and Jamie confused with July.
Everybody's boning when it's cold, pop out when it's warm.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Miss Bob.
Miss Bob? What?
Bob. Happy birthday to Bob.
Bob, okay.
Yeah.
David's dad.
A lot going on this week. Yeah, Father's Day. Yeah, we got Father's Day. We got all kinds of birthdays. Fuck, it's too much.
Ooh, and I'm gonna shout out to Eric for finding the Marvel Legends ROM and mailing that out.
Yes, I've been Rom. The Space Knight was always one of my favorite Marvel characters, and of course, it originated as a Mattel action figure, and they just did the comic book basically to boost the action figure. The action figure bombed, but the comics remained. One of my favorite comic books of all time. Used to subscribe to it. Used to just loved it, and the Marvel Legends line, they do these really detailed action figures, and ROM Space Knight is one of this editions, and I've been looking for it like crazy. I was walking around Target looking for Jamie's birthday presents, and boom, there was 2 on the rack. I'm like, I'm going to get one for me, and then I'm going to see if Neil wants one, and I'm going to get one for Neil.
You want to know what's funny? You were the cause of an argument in my house about that. So it comes in the mail. And I'm like, oh, it's addressed to me. Normally there's packages, they're all for Sammy because she's getting stuff on Amazon. I'm like, cool. I open it up and I'm like, oh, holy shit, look at this. And my wife looks at it and she goes, what's that? I'm like, Eric sent me the ROM figure. And she's like, that motherfucker. And then she stomps out of the room. I'm like, what's this about? She had found one and purchased it for me for my Father's Day present, I guess they did a new ROM series, and she got me like the first 5 or 6 of them, like, and she just kind of throws them down. She goes, "Happy Father's Day." she was so pissed. So now I've got one out of the box in his cool pose on top of my dresser, and the other
Yeah,
one
they're super posable.
very, and the other one is staying in the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for the stress in my marriage, and thank you for the kind gift at the same time.
Did you say Eric was here first?
Eric was in my life way before you, babe. He's had my back longer than you.
That's funny.
His touch is far more gentle and caring.
It's a touch built out of understanding in history. Yeah.
Oh my God. So anyway, yeah, thanks for the marital strife, and appreciate the
You're
gift
welcome.
too.
You know, I try to be thoughtful with my gifts, so that was funny. No, I saw that. I was like, holy shit, 2 of them.
It was meant to be.
Yes, definitely was.
The universe knew.
So I did have a little mini Friday the 13th marathon. On Friday the 13th, I watched 2, which is my favorite. I watched 4, which is considered one of the best. And the next day I kind of watched part 7. So which is also one of my favorites. So I could have watched 6 as well, but I realized that Friday the 13th is movie comfort food for me, because I can like have it on, like kind of doom scroll. I go, oh, here comes a kill, and I'll watch a kill. I go, oh, here's some boobs. Oh, here's some boobs. Oh, this part's kind of cool. And then you just go back to scrolling, and then, oh, hey, here comes another one, and it's just there. You can enjoy it. You don't really have to super invest in it, but it's still a lot of fun.
You should make movies for Tubi. Death boobs.
Death boobs.
An Eric film, just about a pair of boobs that go around and kill people in like interesting ways.
Mm-hmm. There's this one it's like a short horror movie called Hand Job Cabin, where these ghosts give you a hand job until you die. Is
this on Tubi?
I don't know. I saw it somewhere. Okay. I was looking for a weird movie, so I got to see if it's on Tubi or not. But
I'm looking that up. I don't care what that does to my search history
or your algorithm. My algorithm is pretty messed up. I always send both David and Neil reels of weird subjects. But
yeah, weird shit.
I take pride in it because it's carefully curated by me, or by Instagram, to go, hey, this is what Eric Johnson likes to watch.
I got to tell you, there's some things that were concerning in some of the stuff that you've sent to us as to what it is perhaps you're looking for. And I'm just going to 2 words: fire camp. I believe Dave knows exactly what I'm talking about. What comes across your feed?
There's this Instagram account called Homo Macabre, and it's just all like the acting parts of gay pornography, but without any of the actual pornography, and it's hilarious. So I always send those out to David and Neil, because they're hilarious. But I don't know how I stumbled on that, but it is amusing.
Yeah, wink, wink. I don't know how I stumbled on that.
But we're not here to talk about gay pornography. We're here to talk about Speed.
Yeah, we don't want these people seeing our group chat.
We're here to talk about Speed from 1994. And watching this movie, Andrew watched this movie with me, and it actually held my 17-year-old son's attention, and he said, that was a good movie. So that's a good as a review as you can get from a teen these days. It was a good seal of approval from this generation.
This movie slaps. It's got main character energy. It wasn't mid.
Yeah. It wasn't Ohio.
Got a vibe.
Skibbity toilet or whatever. Yeah. No cap.
Hey, Neil, hit us with the IMDb tagline. Okay,
Yes.
sure.
Yes, Neil, hit us with Internet Movie Database tagline.
A deranged bomb expert, Howard Payne, rigs a city bus with a bomb that will explode if it drops below 50 miles per hour. It's up to Officer Jack Traven and passenger Annie Porter to work together to keep the bus moving and save everyone on board.
So is this one of those movies that I didn't pay attention to anybody's name? I know he's Jack. Keanu Reeves is Jack, and Annie is Sandra Bullock. And I know Harry is what's his name from Dumb and Dumber. Oh,
Isn't he
I can't
Harry?
think of his name. Old age is hitting me.
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, and yeah, but I just and Dennis Hopper is just Dennis Hopper to me. I didn't really pay attention to his name.
Dennis, you know what though? It's hard. It's hard to not like Dennis Hopper in a role because you know he's just gonna take hold of it and just squeeze every last little bit out of it.
Yeah, he really is. He brings it. He doesn't. He just. Especially, we did a review of Blue Velvet a couple of months ago, and he is amazing in that. He's also amazing in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He's just amazing in that as well. Of course, Apocalypse Now, you can't forget him in that movie. And he's just had a really good career. And he directed a movie called The Hot Spot. If anybody is familiar with that movie, it's a kind of a Southern noir with Don Johnson and Virginia Madsen and a very young Jennifer Connelly. And it's really actually a pretty good murder mystery film noir movie that if you haven't seen, you got to check that out. It's a pretty good movie. But he plays a really good villain in this one, and just owns that part and makes the movie. So
Agreed.
It was released on June 10th of 1994. So I must have taken Jamie to this for her birthday or something, because I remember seeing this in the theater, and that weekend was Jamie's birthday weekend. So yeah, I remember seeing this.
I'm going to take you to a Keanu Reeves movie, baby. Oh, you're the most romantic ever.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Keanu Reeves is so young in this movie. If you just see, you used to seeing him as John Wick now, and he's still a badass, but he's definitely older and more grizzled than in this movie. He looks super young. This and Point Break. And David, when did you first see this movie?
Probably when it came out on VHS, just shortly after it was in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. Neil, how about you?
Oh, 100% saw this in the theater.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know if I was still in Texas at the time or back. I think I was back. Yeah, I think I was in New Mexico in 94.
This seems like a movie that we would have seen together too.
I don't remember seeing this with you. I do remember seeing this in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but once you started getting sex on a regular basis, we didn't hang out as much.
We did go see Pulp Fiction together, me, you, and Jamie, and we were the only there was only 6 people in the theater watching that movie.
And then, laughing at really, really inappropriate moments.
Yeah, that was the only time I remember.
What is wrong with you? So much, ma'am. So much.
So this was directed by Jan de Bont, and he was a cinematographer before he was a director, and he was responsible for cinematography for Die Hard and Cujo, All the Right Moves, Flesh and Blood. So he worked with Paul Verhoeven quite a bit. Jewel of the Nile.
Flesh and Blood. That the Rutger Hauer flick? Jennifer Jason Leigh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Ruthless People, Clan of the Cave Bear, Leonard Part 6. He probably wants to take that off his filmography. Die Hard, Black Rain, The Hunt for Red October, Lethal Weapon 3, Basic Instinct. So he was a very good cinematographer, but then he wound up directing Speed, and then Twister had he directed Speed 2 Cruise Control, which I have not seen. Have you seen that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
it's so bad.
Speed on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I hear is just super, super terrible. I got such bad reviews, I always avoided it, so I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Poor Jason Patrick for being
I think
in that.
that ruined his career. Wouldn't you agree, Neil? He never bounced back from Speed 2.
Yeah, well, he directed The Haunting, and then Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, and that was about it. 2003, that was the last movie he directed.
I'm just going to answer Dave's question now since you kind of rolled right over me.
Oh, sorry about that, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, I don't remember him being in too much after that film. Maybe it just took the wind out of his sails. Who knows?
Yeah, he could
Much-
rebound.
His boat slowed down and it blew up.
Yeah,
The
pretty
only
much.
thing I have seen of Speed 2 Cruise Control is Willem Dafoe in a maid's outfit. Is a meme. That's the only thing I've seen in that movie.
I barely remember this. I just know I saw it and I felt really sad.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's written by Graham Yost, who did a lot of TV, but he did Speed, Broken Arrow, a movie called Firestorm with Howie Long, Hard Rain,
Oh God, I've seen all these movies. What the fuck is wrong
Mission
with
to
me?
Mars, the uncredited rewrite of Planet of the Apes, a movie called The Last Castle, which I have not seen, but has James Gandolfini and Robert Redford, and The Grizzlies in 2018. It's a sports drama, but he did a lot of TV writing as well. This was okay. I've watched a lot of the, making of and other things about the production. It was kind of pushed back because it was bought by Paramount, and then it got bought up by 20th Century Fox, and they shot the movie, and a lot of people passed on it, like all the big action stars. Jeff Speakman was supposed to be the main actor. Remember Jeff Speakman?
He's got the power. I'm a master of the slap myself in the chest and wave my hand martial art. And I'm just going
perfect weapon.
I'm just going to say it out loud. Kempo karate is only good for fat guys that can't kick. And if you don't agree with me, I will fight you and I'll win because you do Kempo karate.
So Jeff Speakman only had one movie out of a 3-picture deal. He turned this down. They offered it to Dolph Lundgren. They offered it to Stallone. They offered it to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then they kind of settled on Keanu Reeves, but they weren't sure if he was an action star, even though he was already in Point Break and proved that he could be in that type of movie. They were wary of it. So the budget was only $37 million, but wound up making $350 million at the box office. So it was a huge hit for not that much money. It was supposed to be opening in September of '94, but they had such good test screenings that they pushed it up by a couple of months because it was testing off the charts as far as the, and all the test screenings. So yeah,
he does great. He does great in action roles. Pretty good, as John Wick has shown. He puts the work in to learn how to do what he's got to do. I guess with this one, he even trained with LA SWAT so that they would do that correctly. But it's just he needs to work with someone to teach him how to run because it looks like his upper body's in water and he's fighting so hard. And his legs are moving just fine, but his upper body looks like he's got just lead weights or he's just like in gel or something. It just like he's just working so hard in the upper body and his legs are just like a cartoon, just pumping away.
Well, maybe he could go run with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise loves to run it. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about this for a second. Annoying people who like to run in their movies. Ben Stiller, Tom Cruise. Who else? Do you see a Tom Cruise movie and a Ben Stiller movie? At some point, they're going to find a reason to run.
Well, early Steven Seagal, when he could run, he ran a lot, and he ran very, very stiff. If you watch him running, and I think Above the Law, it's hilarious the way he runs.
If people could see this is a perfect impression of Steven Seagal running.
But his like he runs, and his upper body is just so still. His arms are waving around like you did.
His arms are waving around like he's a freaking puppet. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then I don't think Arnold runs too much in his movies, but definitely Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the all-time. I gotta run. I'm going to outrun the internet in his newest movie. So that's how fast he can run.
I have too many thetans. I cannot set foot inside a movie theater and watch a Tom Cruise flick.
Yeah, you would not be clear.
Okay, but I am so far from clear.
So this movie's only 116 minutes long.
Perfect length.
It's really good. I mean, the one thing I really enjoy about it is it doesn't stop. It's you got it's constant action. There's really not many breaks in it at all, and there's not really wedged in character development. The character development feels natural through the dialogue, which Joss Whedon did an uncredited rewrite on all the dialogue a couple months before they started shooting, so that's why it's a little quippy or whatever. They kind of juiced up the dialogue a little bit.
What's going to stop the elevator? The basement?
Yeah, that was funny. I mean, there's some typical Whedonisms going on in there. He sure did fall off the face of the earth, though, after all his harassment claims against him.
I had no clue he had harassment claims.
Yeah.
But
I don't
who
even know
hasn't?
who he is.
Josh Whedon, tons of TV stuff too. God, who doesn't have a harassment claim against him? And speaking of harassment claims, I'm so glad that Kevin Smith got Dogma out in the theaters. I enjoyed. They did like a weekend, like 4 weekend showings. I managed to get tickets for to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it is nice that it had been held up by the Weinstein Company for a long, long time. He finally got it out, so yeah, that's good. One thing I did remember, this kind of pushed me to see it, is that there was a good Roger Ebert review of it. Him and Siskel both liked it quite a bit. Do you want to hit us with the critical consensus?
Sure. All right. Rotten Tomatoes, we all know what they do. Speed, it's got a 95% approval rating. At 73 reviews, it gives an average of 8.1 out of 10. The consensus is a terrific popcorn thriller. Speed is taut, tense, and energetic with outstanding performances from Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock. On Metacritic, it's got a weighted score of 78 of 100 based on 17 critics, and that is a generally favorable review. And audiences on CinemaScore gave it an average grade of A. And I love that we got to say A+ to F. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave it 4 out of 4 stars, describing it as manic exhilaration, and praised Reeves' transition into a credible action hero, while also commending Hopper's performance as the film's villain. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone remarked that Speed works like a charm, highlighting its entertainment value. Janet Maslin, our good buddy of the New York Times, praised Hopper's portrayal of a crazy menace and noted the film's swift pacing, which left little room for character development but maintained momentum. I'm just kidding. This is a non-character development kind of movie. You just want a dude that is willing to jump onto a moving bus to take care of a bomb. That's his character right there. Everyone else is freaking out, and you called some guy Gigantor for no reason. Gigantor. I still don't understand that one, but it sticks with me. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly gave the film an A rating, lauding director Jan de Bont's craftsmanship, and Richard Schnickel of Time noted the film's ability to tap into common anxieties, calling it an effective thriller. The film has received long-term recognition. Quentin Tarantino named Speed as one of the top 20 films he had seen between 1992 and 2009 for anybody that gave a shit to listen to Quentin Tarantino speak. Entertainment Weekly.
Let me tell you, man.
Entertainment Weekly ranked the film 8th on its list of the best Rock'em Sock'em movies of the past 25 years. What a list title.
I know.
Guys,
what the hell?
We've got to post a list, guys. We need a title, okay? How many should we have on it? 25. But what kind of movies do we want? Well, boys, we want some Rock'em Sock'em movies. That's what we want, fellas.
Dateline, the 1925's best Rock'em Sock'em movies of the past 25 years.
Empire included Speed in its 500 greatest movies of all time. That's a title that makes sense. I want to talk about great movies. Okay, just like average kind of great movies? No, I mean the greatest of all time. Fucking A. Pick a number, dude. I'm with you. In 27, it came in 451, by the way. In 2017, BBC's Mark Kermode revisited the film and declared it a timeless masterpiece, praising its enduring appeal as an action classic. And so in your notes, you go right to cast. Honestly, you didn't really need to go. Like, you got Keanu, Sandra, Dennis, Jeff. Who cares past that? Everyone else is background noise.
I do like Joe Morton as the lieutenant. He was also Miles Dyson or whatever. Not is it Miles Dyson? Whatever the guy's name is in Terminator.
Yeah, the Skynet guy. That's all he was in my house. I'm like, look, babe, it's the Skynet guy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean the Skynet guy? And then all I could do was recreate the scene where he's like, That guy. Don't you see that? Don't you see what's in my head right now? Dave is here with me. He understands.
I fucking know, man.
That's the first thing I thought of too. Well, we got Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off in there as the annoying tourist guy.
When Cameron was an explosion land.
Let my Cameron go.
Blow.
Yeah.
That just sounds bad when I say it like that.
Yeah, the premise is super simple. One thing that I like, and I was kind of watching when I watched the movie, is that
can I summarize
right
the
now?
premise? Can I summarize the premise?
Yes, please.
Okay, are you ready? I'm gonna summarize the premise, and I know you got a lot for summarizing the premise. I'm just gonna do it very simply. Bombs.
Yes.
Done.
No timers though. No timers like on the Mission Impossible movies. It's just some guy with the switch.
Do you know how many Mission Impossible movies I've seen?
Probably zero.
Half. I watched half of the first one, and I cannot take this. That look on Tom Cruise's stupid face every time. And then because I said that out loud, we talk about our phones listening to us. I had some weird video of Tom Cruise violently flinging popcorn into his mouth. Because I mentioned that at one time. Tom Cruise, get off my algorithm. Okay, sorry, man. Had to get that out of my system. Fuck Tom Cruise. Although he was okay in Willow. I'll give him Willow. But he wasn't the best part of Willow. Legend. Yeah, but he wasn't the best part. Because he was a mouth breather that whole time.
Yeah, he's kind of an afterthought in Legend. Tim Curry, Mia Sara.
Tim Curry. God.
Yeah.
Darkness. So badass.
So going back to what I love about this movie is it's simple. Just the act of a bus jumping over a 50-foot gap on the in the freeway that's not finished. That is the main set piece. If you watch a fucking Fast and the Furious movie or any of those movies now, it's so amped up that something that low stakes would just be an afterthought, where they're dragging vaults down the runway and they're, jumping from building to building while in cars and going to space and all that kind of shit like that. This movie is very simple, but it's effectively done, and you actually give a shit because there's weight to it because it's not CGI. You feel the realness of everything that's going on, even though obviously there's parts that you're like, that's not going 55 miles an hour.
Yeah. the bus jumping, and when they show the gap, they're perfectly level and facing at each other. But somehow Keanu Reeves made that bus pop a fucking wheelie and zip right across that thing. But I love this, man, because it was just carbohydrates. This was a long day, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a beer kind of movie. I've just had a long ass day. It's just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is super comforting, and a cold beer or a lovely bourbon. I don't know if you can tell what I'm thinking about right now. It just hits for that very reason. Just like you said, it's very simple and it works.
Yeah. This was actually really fun. I watched it last week, and it was just really fun to come home from work, a long stressful day, and literally just sit down with a bubbly and a jar of peanut butter and eat. That's what I ate for dinner. But and watch this movie, and it went by fast. And I wasn't even playing. I wasn't typically when Eric says watch this, I'm playing on my phone for 80% of the movie. This time I was watching it, the whole thing. So thank you, Eric.
You managed to hold Dave's attention, so can we just a little applause for that you found something that worked. Good job, Eric.
Yeah, I'm here for part of the shows, and when I'm on the show, I'm only here for about 20% of the actual show, and then when I'm watching the movies, I only watch about 20% of the actual movie. So I'm done.
We appreciate your self-awareness of your contribution. Yeah, the movie starts great though with the elevator scene. Everybody's got a fear of the elevator falling.
No. I got a fear of getting fucking chopped in half thanks to some Omen movies, and then coming out literally and I don't know if you were doing this, but I'm just sitting there. I'm like, get out, dumbass. Like, why do you need somebody to pull you? I would have slid head first into that thing like Pete Rose. I'd have like, you're not going? Boom, I'm out. I'll see you later.
That's funny. I was exactly thinking of The Omen right as I was talking about that, because that was the original. Holy shit! I hope this elevator doesn't snap and a cable cut me right in half. Yeah. The Omen 2, Damien, The Omen 2.
Okay, I've got my elevator game on lockdown because I know I pay attention to the floors. Okay, and when it starts to drop, right before it hits, I'm going to jump up in the air. So I'll be safe. I got that going for me. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that.
As a kid, I always remember the video for, I think it was Dio, Last in Line, where the kid's in the elevator and he's like stuck to the ceiling. So that, remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I remember that part. No.
Thanks for bringing up Dio. Did I send you the bit about people saying like they were defending Axl Rose? Like, well, you try to sound good if you've been singing for 45 years, and then it cuts to Ronnie James Dio just like kicking ass at like over 70 years of age, sounded good. I thought I sent that to you. All right, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah,
so good.
Rest in peace, Dio.
So good.
Yeah, but the whole beginning sets everything up, sets up the stakes. The directing is really, really good, and just the kind of that space of people getting stuck in the elevator, and that, you know, that lady, they're like, come on, and she's all scared to get out, you know, and she barely makes it, and just seeing the villain and then thinking he's dead and, you know, shoot the hostage and all kind of stuff. And so, you know, everybody characters without having to have a big backstory. You know, Jeff Daniels pragmatic, and Keanu Reeves is young go-getter, and of course Dennis Hopper's, you know, insane. So it shows and doesn't it shows you and doesn't have to tell you what it's all about. It does a good job of explaining everything. Just by,
you know how cool Keanu Reeves was in this is that he's doing like some really physical stuff, but he's not doing it like over the top. It's not like a Tom Cruise kind of over the top. Like he's jumping around on this stuff and hanging upside down and getting lowered in to do things. But it's not like, you know, you don't have the tense music. He's not making all the distressed faces. He's just like, all right, cool. You know, this is what I do. I try to save people. And if I got to hang upside down and inside an elevator shaft, this is how I'm going to do it.
He doesn't insist upon himself.
I was trying to find a good time to say that, you son of a bitch. I was thinking that the whole time. I'm going to go play with my ROM. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's the whole part, though. I do agree with you in that sense, because yeah, he's just doing his job. He cares about doing a good job, but he's not like really, you know, at that point the hero in the typical sense until everything changes when the bus happens, and that the way the setup is. And Sandra Bullock, and I'd never seen her in anything. I think she was in Demolition Man before that, but I didn't really remember her that much from it. But this movie like made her a star because she has that. Because she was super super cute, and just it was like you knew that just okay, she's going to be something big after this movie. It was like when you see somebody become a star, like Cameron Diaz in The Mask. When you saw her in The Mask, you're like, okay, she's going to be something big. You know, that's just when you first see somebody and don't really know them, but you know that they're going to go on to bigger things.
I'm just going to nod because I don't really care for either of them, but yes. Yes.
Mm. Yeah. Overall, I'm not a big Sandra Bullock fan. I don't really watch any of their movies, but you could just tell that this was going to be a stepping stone to something bigger.
I like the movie she did with Ryan Reynolds. I was going to say Deadpool. She did one with Ryan Reynolds where he's the proposal. Yeah, the proposal. That one's kind of funny. I enjoyed that. And I don't think I could name any other movies that she's been in. What's she been in, Eric?
A lot of romantic comedies, like, what is it, While You Were Sleeping? And then she didn't do like that Gravity movie, which I never saw.
Would you like
yeah. That was horrifically forgettable.
That's one of those movies that you have to see in the theater. If you're watching that on video, you just don't have the same feel. That's when you need to be in a dark theater with, you know, everything going on like IMAX or something like that. Otherwise, it's like watching the Blair Witch Project at home. It's just when's this going to stop? Yeah. Why is it so shaky?
Well, you don't have your spouse sitting next to you like, how much money did we pay for this? Why are we still here? Why haven't we left and gotten our money back?
What has she been in? She was in The Time to Kill, Practical Magic, Miss Congeniality.
Dude,
She was in that
Botox.
movie with what's her name? The funny lady. God, I'm really feeling my age today. Melissa McCarthy, Heat. Yeah. I'm like, what is that movie?
It's got the one with the lady in it, you know.
Lady, yeah.
I'm just waiting for you to lean over your shoulder. Jamie, what's the movie I'm thinking about?
What were we watching the other day? And Jimmy, what's going on with this? Who's that? And I go, we're watching the same movie for the first time. I don't know. What is he doing? What?
Just watch the fucking movie.
He's in this too? You're like, yes.
It's good to see some things transcend like space and time, and they're just sort of a relationship consistent sort of thing. It's I'm going to totally go off on this because you'll probably appreciate this. So it's one of those redneck comedy tour comedians. And I'm going to summarize. He gets a text and says, hey, these people were in an accident. Please pray for them. And he goes, hey, so-and-so was in an accident. They want us to pray for them. Like, well, who was driving? They were in an accident. They asked us to pray for them. Well, are the kids okay? They were in an accident and they asked us to pray for them. Well, what happened to the car? Where were they at? They were in an accident and they asked us to pray for them. So now it's gotten to that point where, like, if say something happened, they're like, oh my God, Eric was in a car crash. Oh my God, well, where was he driving? I don't know. He was in a car crash. But was Jamie with him? I don't know. Eric was in the car crash. I'm going at yeah, like I've got a buddy. He's like on the brink of divorce, and she goes, "How's he doing?" Like, I don't know. We just met up to like shovel that stuff out of his backyard. Well, but how was he feeling? I don't know. We were shoveling the stuff out of his backyard. He didn't tell me. I didn't ask. It's not how these things work.
Yeah, unless they explicitly share it. Your bros, you just kind of
you don't do that.
It's understood. I got your back. If you need to talk to me, I'm here.
Yeah,
but, you don't really have to. Yeah, in fact, just keep it to yourself.
That's great. You have emotions. We all understand that. Shut the fuck up. I don't know how many times we've closed out this podcast and then Dave is in tears for like a half hour afterwards. And Eric and I are like, please just stop. And then eventually we pretend like we frozen and turn it off.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You see, you guys are rambling on, and I just go down I just go down rabbit holes on Internet Movie Database, looking at who wrote this, who wrote the director, and I just tick, and you guys just ramble, and then occasionally you say something about a movie, and I type in, and yeah.
Dave, has anybody ever dropped like a box of toothpicks in front of you, and you looked down at it, and you knew exactly how many toothpicks were on the ground?
No, I just shoved them to the side with my foot and kept walking.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a train set in your house?
Huh?
Do you have a train set in your
No, but I am building a diorama. So
really? Okay.
Lonely. So lonely.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the movie, the premise is so simple. Once the bus hits 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50 miles an hour, the bus will explode. And it's just simplicity. And just everything kind of escalates. Jack's trying to get on the bus, and then when he does, and then the guy who's like a criminal accidentally shoots the bus driver, and then Annie has to take over. It just escalates in an organic way that doesn't feel overly contrived, but is fun, and it keeps your attention, and the set pieces are really good. Of course, the elevator at the beginning, and then this different parts of when the bus and him sliding under it, trying to look at the bomb, and then the poor lady who tries to get off the bus and she gets blown up, and it's just done in a way that feels natural, where it doesn't feel too forced.
You know, I call bullshit though that on a bus in Los Angeles, only one guy had a gun.
That's true. They should have exchanged gunfire.
Yeah, a lot more people would have been out.
Well, that one guy who's the big Hispanic guy, Gigantor, I can only see him from Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh, no crap. I knew he's stuck in my head from somewhere and I couldn't place it. See, I'm unwilling to look it up. I think that would be the difference. I'll just wait. Eric will know.
Carlos Carrasco is Ortiz.
Oh,
He's
man.
Popeye in Blood In, Blood Out. Give me some chon chon.
This movie's a risk, carnal.
Yeah, that's a risk now. It was that is if you are Hispanic, it's mandatory to watch Blood In, Blood Out.
Okay. Thank you for talking to our 4 listeners because David and I are as Caucasian as you get.
Movie's 180 minutes long. Blood In and Blood Out. I've only seen it maybe 3 times, but it is very, very well regarded among the raza.
Your gente.
Mi gente.
Yeah. Ooh, and then American Me.
Yes, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a nice little run of like Mexican gang movies for for a while.
It's too bad Martin Scorsese never got a hold of that concept. He could have done that badass. Mm-hmm. That would have been so good.
Vatos Loco forever. No. Have you seen Blood In, Blood Out, David?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. It's a pretty good one. Very long, but yeah. If you ever find yourself a hyena, she'll want to watch it with you. Crickets.
No, yeah. David. He was reading. He wasn't even listening to what you had to say.
I'm reading the show notes. I'm just doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm listening.
Of all the stuff in the movie, the single most cold-blooded act. And I was thinking, like, I remembered Jeff Daniels seeing the bomb and the look on his face, just kind of like that, the resignation, the look on his face, like, okay, that was pretty cool. You know, as I watch these movies now as an older guy, sometimes that stuff hits me and I get like a little like, oof, I get a little pang, you know, you get like a little zing.
Yeah.
No, what got me was just how fucking cold-blooded Dennis Hopper was. That poor guy just driving the train. He's up there. He's stuck. And Dennis Hopper just puts like 12 rounds into his back.
Yep.
Just like, hey, guess what? He lets the 2 ladies go like, this is your stop. And they go. And my only thought was like, his gun looked really cool. And then this poor guy, he's like, hey, jump off the train. I'm going to push the lever. Nope. Just ice the poor dude.
Well, when I first saw the movie, just how he kills the security guard with like, you know, sticks the knife or a screwdriver or whatever it is in his neck. You're like, okay, this is going to be rated R. This is going to be a rated R movie. Yeah. So it does.
Did he get him in the head? Did he get him in the head? Like,
I thought he got him in the side of the neck. Maybe it was the head.
I think it was the head because he was like quivering when he went down. And then it makes me wonder, how hard do you have to swing something like that to get it through the skull?
Yeah.
Dave, you've killed a guy. How does that work?
You got hit pretty hard.
Pretty hard?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you got strong hands from all the chopping down trees and stuff like that. You got, and also lonely.
I was gonna say, after the murder, how long does it take for the erection to go down?
What was like dead? It's like dead baby jokes. What's the hardest part about seeing a dead baby? The erection. Wait, I got another one. These are so fucking horrible. How do you make a dead baby float?
Take some ice cream.
Scoop ice cream. Scoop a dead baby. Some root beer. Yeah. God, I love that.
Truly Tasteless Jokes was really a formative experience for me as a young man.
Oh, that book was amazing. Like your friends would pass around the one copy and it would just be tattered. Everyone would be going through it
over and over again, making the rounds. Yeah. The final part on the subway was kind of tacked on. The writer originally thought the climax of the movie would be when they the bus blows up and hits the airplane, but the studio's like, we got to have a better ending. We got to figure out what's going on with the bomber and everything, and then so they kind of added the subway, which is basically the movie in miniature, because they have to jump the tracks with the subway and everything like that. But it still makes me laugh when Dennis Hopper's head gets cleaved off with with the sign. Just the way it looks is hilarious.
A priest, a monk, and a rabbit walk into a bar, and the rabbit says, I'm starting to think I'm a typo. Truly tasteless jokes. Nobody?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Wasn't there like mommy jokes too? Those were
there were the mommy jokes.
Jokes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Difference between a truckload of bowling balls and a truckload of dead babies. You can't use a pitchfork to unload a truckload full of bowling balls.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the rest of
What's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?
I don't remember having a garbanzo bean on my chest last night.
There you go. Dave was the one who told us that joke.
I provided something.
All right, we're going off the rails here.
Okay, I have a question for both of you guys. What's up with the Polish jokes, though? Since we're talking about truly tasteless jokes, there's so many Polish jokes in that thing. What did the Polak do for this? And I'm like, what did this group of people do to get such ire?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. And then there was like WASP jokes, like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant jokes as well, which I didn't really get when I was a kid. Didn't understand really what that meant,
Yeah, because my dad would call people dumb Polacks all the time, and I would ask, because my father was very religious and was always like, you got to be appropriate. I'm like, why is that okay? What's that about? And then usually you catch a smack. But if anybody out there knows, it's probably maybe something to do with immigration, but the poor Polish people, man, like, what the hell are we doing with our humor? Let's put it where it belongs. Wilderness firefighters.
This is going to be a digression. I was reading a thing on Reddit. It's like, what is a rule in your house that you thought was normal until you saw how other families operate? And
oh, Jesus.
For me, is that if you had fun on one day of the weekend, you couldn't have fun on another day of the weekend. That was just a Hispanic rule. One day had to be spent cleaning, and you could have fun one day or the other day. And if you wanted to get out of the house, you had to earn it by doing something. You couldn't just say, "Hey, I'm leaving." You had to clean or do something. That was a very specific rule.
Every meal at our house had to be eaten at the table together. You couldn't eat anywhere else. You ate at the table. You had to set the table, put the food out, eat, clean up, and then put the dishes away and wash the dishes. Well, wash them and then put them away. Like, everything had to be done like that. Like, that was like a trip going to your house. Like, you guys would make some food. You just go get a plate and just like go sit down on the floor and watch a movie. And I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, we hardly ever ate at the table. It was like something.
I'm picturing your house in my head. And honestly, I remember your room. I remember the floor in front of the TV. And then if you look back over your shoulder, you could see the laundry that all had to be hung up facing a certain direction. Yeah. And then that spotless ass kitchen, no matter what had been cooked and done in it. That's all I remember. Like, I don't remember if you had any other furniture in that house whatsoever.
Well, because we weren't allowed to sit on the couch. We had to sit on the floor. The couch was not made for sitting. It was made for show.
But see, that, to me, that was great, because if you were down on the floor, like, what the hell was wrong with you? Like, I can go to Eric's house. I can eat on a paper plate. I can sit on the floor. I can watch a movie while I eat. This is fantastic.
So we didn't eat a lot of family dinners together. Everybody just kind of like, somebody would yell that there was food on the counter and we'd come eat. And there was very little conversation. But one time we decided to have this family dinner, and everybody's like packed in at that little table. And I remember there's like cussing. My dad's like, pounding on the table. He's like, "You watch your goddamn mouth," and just how we normally talk around the house. And then Judy starts yelling at my dad and all this stuff. But the whole time, my buddy comes over with sole purpose, knowing that we were eating a family dinner, so he could go back into our bedroom and jerk off to some VHS porn. And then so my dad's yelling at us to watch our goddamn mouth. My buddy walks in, he's like, "Hey, I'm just here to grab something." Walks in the back, and they just like watch him walk down the hall, and then goes back to yelling at all of us kids for having foul mouths. And my buddy's back there punching the clown, and then he just walks out. He's like, "See ya," and he just walks out, and he leaves the tissue on the floor in the bedroom. Like, motherfucker!
Amazing,
classic.
All right.
Not everybody.
So
did that,
Speed, everybody.
Farmington, New Mexico.
Watch this movie.
Speed.
Watch Speed.
Well, it's what I mean. How much is there to talk about the movie, though? That's the problem.
It's a really good movie, and it's super fun. And at 1994, you forget that it's that old. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's so weird to think that 94 is so long ago.
Yeah,
and it just you watch it and you're like, well, what would happen if there were cell phones? Like if this were to happen now, that everything would be live streamed, everything all the time. It would just be a completely different movie because the technology has changed so much.
You don't have the hero like stressing and running to the payphone. You wouldn't have Die Hard. What would Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis have done if they were having to like smack people off of payphones to get calls?
Exactly.
Or randomly pick it up. And all I can think of is whenever they grab those payphones, it's like, dude, do you know how gross that is? You're so going to get COVID off that thing. You don't do it. Don't touch it.
Always having to carry a quarter in case you needed to use a payphone.
Oh, that was on the way out the door. That was
Yeah.
what you got. There was a whole jar full of them. Like, get a quarter, give us a call. And that's exactly what I would do is I would stop, pull over. We knew where the payphones were, call my parents so they wouldn't freak out, and then go about to what we were doing.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
I called my dad from a payphone one time when I was in Colorado, and I was gone with my buddy, and we were trying to score drugs for 3 days, and we were gone. And I called him from a payphone just to let him know, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to be home, like later tonight, or I'm on my way home." He goes, "Oh, where have you been?" I'm like, "You didn't even know I was gone for 3 days." On a payphone on the side of the road in Colorado. Like,
you guys were kind of free range children. You just kind of left up to your own devices, just do whatever, It really wasn't that much, rules.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the box office for 1994. Lots of really good movies came out that year. The number one movie for the year in the United States was The Lion King. Saw that in the theater. Forrest Gump was number 2. Saw that in the theater. True Lies was number 3. Also saw that in the theater. The Santa Claus I did not see. Flintstones did not see. Clear and Present Danger, I remember seeing that as well. Speed, The Mask, Miss Doubtfire, Interview with the Vampire. Didn't see Maverick. Saw Schindler's List. The Client, didn't see it. Philadelphia, saw it. Stargate, saw it. Ace Ventura, saw that. Man, we went to the movies a lot.
Yes.
Just think of that. I mean, there was really nothing else to do in Farmington. We were at the movies constantly.
So many theaters. So many theaters.
Mm-hmm. Star Trek Generations, Wolf, Pulp Fiction, Grumpy Old Men.
That the Jack Nicholson Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I saw every single one of these in the theater.
Dumb and Dumber.
Definitely saw that one in the theater.
Naked Gun 33 1/3. The Crow, saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers, also saw it in the theater. Saw that at the Allen Theater, Natural Born Killers. That's one of those movies I remember seeing specifically at the Allen Theater. When a Man Loves a Woman, Time Cop, Tombstone. Just tons of really good movies during that time. In the Name of the Father, Wyatt Earp, The Piano. Yeah. Color of Night. That was a movie,
Color of
erotic
Night.
thriller. Remember the one with
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the funny looking female lead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
Street Fighter.
There we go.
Yep. Terminal Velocity, Shawshank Redemption. really good year, 94. Wayne's World 2, love that one, still funny. Yeah, just a good year for movies that year. Yeah.
That was a good year.
Mm-hmm. Surprised how good that was. Next week, we are going to talk about The Rock, which is Sean Connery.
Ooh, that's a classic.
Yep.
You're going to have to listen to an entire episode of me doing this.
Yeah, we're on a little action movie from the 90s kick for a couple of weeks.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I thought about like In the Line of Fire or something, something similar to that.
In the Line of Fire. Why am I drawing a blank?
That's the one with John Malkovich as the presidential assassin, and he like has the plastic gun, and directed by Clint Eastwood.
In the Line of Fire. Dude, this is jogging nothing for me.
Really? That's weird. Yeah, we'll have to think about it. If you guys can think.
All right, I saw the poster for it. Yes, okay. Gotcha.
Listeners, if you can think of a 90s action movie that we have not done yet, send us a suggestion, rvspodcast222@gmail.com. We haven't done Universal Soldier.
You may want to say
Time Cop.
You may want to say that again because you were moving your microphone, and that's all you could hear.
Send us a email if you have a suggestion for any 90s action movie to rvspodcast222@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram and on Facebook, or you can send us a message through our Buzzsprout page. We're kind of in this 90s action mode. So, hit us up with that. If you want to contribute to the cause, go to buymeacoffee.com and find the Retro Video Store. And we appreciate everybody listening. 90s action films, pretty fun.
They're a good time.
So, yep. Anything to add, David?
Goodbye, everybody.
Neil?
You know what we need to do? We need to break down what we think each decade, what the greatest genre of each decade was that we've done.
Oh man,
that
would be a tough one. We'll talk about that next week. That's a good off topic.
That's something good to think about.
Yeah. Because we're talking about these 90s action flicks, and a lot of them are coming to mind. But then, like maybe 80s comedies, because there's so many freaking good, like just
80s horror too, or 80s sci-fi.
Horror. Oh. Man, see? All right, gentlemen, time to put your thinking hats on.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. Join us next week for The Rock.
Everybody have a good week. And if you can, go home and fuck the prom queen.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Video Store Podcast.